Shalom, first and foremost. All high praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Makah, Kadas. Double honors to the elders, single honors to the apostles, preaching and teaching us this word of truth, and with sincerity as always. Week in and week out, we can prophesy a downfall that's going to come to this kingdom here, known as Babylon. And we tell our people on this side who you are, all the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians are the true Hebrew Israelites that the scriptures speak on. And Esau is your enemy, the so-called white man. That's in Genesis 25 on down to 27. In Genesis 27, around the 40-something verse, Genesis 3, we're around 14th verse. Genesis 3, 14. The Lord said that he shall, when you go into Adam in Genesis, he owned it, he ruled everything. Adam ruled all the earth in the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden represented his paradise, which was our paradise, our paradiso in the Latin. In Latin, paradiso actually means a garden. Right? You know, the Roman emperor would invite his guests, his honorable guests, to his paradiso, which meant a garden. He would never thought of him inviting a Christian like Paul and Peter and them into his paradiso, the Roman emperor's paradiso. That's why Yahweh tells us in Revelations, he that endures I shall give him to eat of the tree of life, which is the paradise. You get Genesis 4, Genesis 3:14.
Genesis 3:14, and it says, "And the Lord Yahweh said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life."
Does it say more on down?
Verse 15 says, "And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall..."
Stop there. Between thy seed and her seed. Now let's jump to Genesis 27, and you know what I want. I mean, Genesis 25.
Genesis 25?
Yeah.
This is Genesis chapter 25. 25. Or, I'll start at verse 21. It says, Genesis 25 and 21, and it says, "And Isaac entreated the Lord Yahweh for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived." Okay, so Isaac was wondering why Rebekah wasn't able to bear children at this point, and Isaac had to go to a prophet of the Lord. That's how, in the ancient world, that's how you entreated the Lord. You had to go to a man of the Lord who would then make intercession for you to the Heavenly Father. Okay, verse 22, and it says, "And the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord." Okay, so the children, like we just read in Genesis 3, okay, and 14 or 15, the Lord promised that he would put enmity between the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman, okay, being our nation. All right, right now we're seeing that manifest itself inside of the womb of Rebekah with Jacob and Esau. Verse 23, it says, "And the Lord Yahweh said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other, other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Okay, going into Esau, his predestination to be a servant unto the Israelites, people on his side. Okay.
So yeah, that's going back to why we're divided. Why is Esau a racist? Why does he hate us? Because right now the Lord's put in the spirit in Esau to Genesis 27 where I slay my brother Jacob.
Yep.
So this is showing you right there what was going to what was all going to manifest through these two nations. But once again, Genesis 25 and Genesis 3. Thy seed and her seed. The thy there is Eve. The thy there is Esau, Cain. We have to get that one too, where Cain slew his brother Abel. Genesis 27 verse.
This is Genesis chapter 27. I'll start at verse 39. It says, And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. So Isaac is blessing his son Esau now after Jacob supplanted, okay, and he got the birthright, all right? And Esau asked for one blessing at least from Isaac before he passed away. So this is what he gave him. Verse 40 says, And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing where his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. Okay.
So that's Esau right there wanting to slay his brother Jacob. Because once again, the Lord was going to put enmity between the serpent seed, which is Esau, and her seed, which is Eve, which represented Israel. Rachel, Rebecca, Sarah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in their chosen, because that was to prove that was Rebecca's favorite son right there, Jacob, not Esau. Otherwise, she would have tried to trick Esau, her oldest son that came out of her womb. Why do you think she would have chosen Jacob? Because she already knew through the spirit that this devil wasn't right. That devil Esau, that was really that serpent.
That was the same spirit.
The same person, the same that spirit of that serpent there. Now get Cain and Abel.
Yep. This is Genesis chapter 4. I'll start at verse 6, and it says, And the Lord Yahweh said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him.
I gotta stop there. And notice how in Genesis 3, the Lord starts off with blessing one and then cursing the other, and prophesying what was gonna take place. And then right after that, Esau kills Jacob. And then later on in Genesis 27, once again, the Lord starts off blessing one and cursing the other. And then later on, Esau once again, after that, goes off and plans to kill his brother Jacob. Continue.
Verse 8 says, And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not, am I my brother's keeper? And it says, And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. Okay, so basically that was the start of the enmity. Really, okay, the serpent, that beguiling serpent in the garden was before Cain and Abel. So that first incarnation of the serpent spirit came through Cain, and he already had a hatred toward his brother, which was Abel, which is the reincarnation of Jacob in the spirit. Okay? So even from the beginning, during Cain and Abel's time, Cain naturally had a spiritual hatred for his brother because his sacrifice was accepted and Cain's was not. All right? Like the brother said in Genesis 3:14, the serpent was cursed. Okay? The serpent was cursed, meaning that he was not accepted in the eyes of the Heavenly Father. Okay? So when he comes back through Cain, nothing he does is going to be accepted in the eyes of the Heavenly Father, and now he's bitter because of it. Now he hates his brother because his brother is righteous, and he is not. All right? And that manifested itself once more in Genesis 25th chapter.
And then we got in Genesis, and it's spirit, because when you go into the word Cain, that word goes into a sword, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
right?
Koyan is a weapon, or a stabbing weapon.
Goes into a weapon, a sword.
Yep.
And then Edom goes into the word red. What do you do with a sword? You
Draw
cut.
blood. That's right.
And then what comes out? Blood, red. And that's exactly what Cain did, and that's exactly what Esau said in his heart.
We might add too, the red, which in the Hebrew is Adawam, okay? That actually goes into the color which is crimson. All right, crimson is the original root word of the word criminal. So when you have a criminal, oftentimes you'll have a saying where it says, "I caught you red-handed." Okay, when a criminal gets caught in the act of committing a crime, the law enforcement will say he was caught red-handed or in the act of doing that. All right. It's funny that the Lord named an entire nation after a color, right? Edom is actually means red, okay? You are all a nation of criminals, all right? And it's been in your spirit to be so, okay, to go against the Heavenly Father and be that crimson criminal, that red criminal, all right? All right, that the Lord, when your forefather Esau came out of the womb, what did he do? He had the same curse of leprosy on him that he put on Cain. All right? He didn't say that he was white. What did he say in Genesis 25? Okay? Genesis 25th chapter. We were just there. Okay? The 25th verse. What does it say? And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Red going into the color of blood, like the brother was explaining. Okay? Okay? Also, it's synonymous with criminality. Okay, just wanted to add that point.
You can get where Esau denies us passage in the wilderness.
Yep.
I'm gonna get this. This is Revelation 6 and verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red. So when you go into Revelations here, this red horse here refers to you as Esau. These ain't literal red horses that's gonna come out and fly around the earth. There went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And also when you read into the beast in Revelation 17, that beast is red, crimson, that dragon. The Roman empires, they were known, the senates were known to be wearing red. They liked to wear red. It was what was that thing that they would wear? It was called I forgot what it was called. Yeah. The Senate would wear a red type of sash over them. Yeah. And here we have it, and it was given to him to take peace from the earth. And that's why today you don't have any peace. Got constant war. People are complaining about war, about the unjust aftermath and effects of wars. You have poor countries and impoverished, underdeveloped countries, poverty, because of all this war. Esau still being the man. Esau's still the man up there everyone has to answer to. everyone's getting tired of this racism because everybody knows he hates niggas with a passion. Esau thinks of killing niggas in his sleep, when he's awake, when he's using the bathroom, when he's eating. All he thinks about is killing the nigga. He can't rest until he sees Jacob's blood on the ground, spilled on the ground.
God, the scriptures say that as well. You know, Esau is nothing but wickedness, and he can't sleep unless he does wickedness. You know,
Esau is the most happy. You notice he's always mad. The reason why he's always mad, like he's always mad, like he's not getting any box, because he wants to see a nigga die.
Because he ain't. All his women want Jake, by the way. You know?
This is Genesis 6. I'll just finish this. To take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. That great sword is one of the first ones was the Gatling gun. Now that's low level now. Now he has the robot dogs, the robot Terminators walking around now. Soon those are going to be unleashed. He has other types of weapons, radioactive weapons now, electronic, more advanced weapons technology now he can use. Like they have a certain weapon that can use frequencies to fuck with your head. Voice to skull technology. What they call that? They also call this other shit MK Ultra type of shit, man. Basically, you got that.
Yeah, this is I had something to add too, and I'll get that one. Obadiah 1 in verse 2, it says, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, and thou art greatly despised." The brother said that everybody hates Esau now. Okay, it's not just the Israelites. Okay, even the Moabites hate Esau. The Ammonites hate Esau. All of Hamites hate Esau. Even Esau hates himself. They're fighting amongst themselves. So Esau is a house divided. Now he's got the whole world turning on him. Okay, it's just taken to this point for people to be able to have the power to fight against Esau themselves as a nation, especially Moab, which I went into that last week about how Moab had their military day parade. Okay, and showing all their weapons and whatnot in their military. Okay, Moab's ready for a fight, man. Okay, but I got that verse right here. This is Numbers, chapter 20. I'll start at verse 14. It says, "And Moses sent messages from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. Thus saith thy brother Israel, thou knowest all the travail that hath befallen us." So that's a good point right there, that Moses stated that the Edomites knew what was going on in Egypt with the Israelites. Okay, they knew the whole time, which is why Esau, to this day, Esau, what does he do when you go back to the ancient Egyptian, what do they call those things, artifacts, when they bring them up out of the ground? What is the first thing Esau does? He knocks off the nose. Okay, why does he knock off the nose of a lot of these Egyptian artifacts? Because a lot of those artifacts are depicting Jake, the Israelites, who they knew were in Egypt. Okay, carrying on, verse 15, "How our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And when we cried unto the Lord Yahweh, he heard our voice and sent an angel, and hath brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the outermost of thy border." Okay, so right here where it says, and when we cried unto the Lord Yahweh, he heard our voice and sent an angel. That angel was Yahweh Shai, by the way. That was the angel of the Lord, okay, the death angel that he sent through all the houses of the Egyptians to slay the firstborn, including all their animals. All right, and he didn't touch any of the animals of the Israelites. This is the story of the Exodus being explained to the Edomites, okay? Which is why nowadays, we also have a lot of our people, especially Judah, that are all into that Egyptology bullshit, okay? Because our people we became a nation, these people right here, we really became a nation of millions in Egypt. We grew up in Egypt, we got our start in Egypt, we got our wealth in Egypt, okay? The Lord reintroduced himself to us in Egypt through the Exodus, okay? one of our greatest prophets and leaders, Mashah, Moses, was the leader that led us out of Egypt. So you can understand why a lot of our people have that spiritual tie to the land of Egypt, okay? But they're going off because Egypt was our oppressor. All right, let's get to the point. Verse 17 says, "Let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through the fields or through the vineyards, neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand nor to the left, until we have passed thy borders." And Edom said unto him, "Thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword."
With the sword, once again, it's no coincidence. That's like what a nigga would say today. I'm gonna pop out on you with the heater or whatever. That's the Esau right there doing that was Esau who came up with that whole line.
Esau was like, "This is my block," you know.
It's nothing new, nothing new under the sun. That all started with Esau.
Yep.
But now that because see, niggas are traumatized by all the violence Esau has done toward them, and that's what you call Stockholm syndrome. You start if you see something for long enough, that may start to build up into your spirit. And that's exactly what Esau had did, because he's a demon. And demons know how to get to you. So now that same spirit has rubbed off on niggas. Was that all you had on that one?
Yeah.
So you can get the one where Amalek comes out? Because this all goes into Ezekiel 25 and 12. Thus says the Lord, because that Edom has dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and hath greatly offended, and revenged himself upon them. Once again, so we're just getting you some of the history accounts of this back and forth, battling back and forth between the house of Esau, Edom, and the house of Jacob, Israel. So another account here is Amalek here. Amalek was a son of Edom. And Amalek did the same thing as we were trying to come out of that wilderness. And we'll get some more examples if any of them come to your mind. You can get
right here, Exodus 17 and verse 8. It says, "Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim. And Moses said to Joshua, Choose us out men and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill and with the rod of God in mine hand." So Joshua did as Moses had said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill.
I don't think that was the one. It mentions where.
Oh, were they? Here, let me get that.
Where he pricks from the back.
Yep.
Kills the weak stragglers of Israel in Israel.
That's Exodus. Verse 6. And the people, it's Exodus 17, verse 3. And the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses and said, Wherefore is this that thou hast brought us out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, What shall I do unto this people? They be almost ready to stone me. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go on before the people and take with thee the elders of Israel and thy rod, where thou smotest the river. take in thine hand and go. Behold, I will stand before thee and there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. So he called the name of the place Mashah and Merib, and because of the chiding of the children of Israel, because they tempted the Lord Yahweh, saying, Is the Lord among us or not? Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim. That's not what you wanted?
It's one that mentions he killed the women and children and that were in the back. Yeah, that was a tricky one to look up. Because basically, we're trying to find the scripture where Amalek crept up on Israel from the back of that whole group.
I got it. Deuteronomy chapter 25 and verse 17. Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way, when ye were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way, and smote the hindermost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary. Because you can imagine, walking through a desert like that, even though they had the Lord over them in a chariot, you're still walking in a desert with no water. Okay, it's still hot. It's like 100 degrees out. So you're walking through the desert with no water. You can imagine that everybody was tired and thirsty. That's why they were complaining in the beginning of Exodus 17:3. They were complaining about not having water. Okay. Now Amalek took advantage of that fact that the Israelites did not have the resources. Okay, and they smote the hindermost. Now, what do you know about what do they call that? A caravan? A caravan of people that travel through a nomadic travel pattern. What they do is they put the women and the children in the back with the elderly and the sick and all that, but they put the warriors and the men in the front, okay? So Amalek, he smote the rear, which means he was attacking women and children. I believe I mentioned that last week, okay, where now you have those Israelis over there in Gaza, and what are they doing? There's been reports from people who have gone to Gaza to help with medical and all that type of stuff. They're saying that they're finding children with bullet wounds to the head, okay? They're finding women with bullet wounds in their head, okay? Meaning Amalek is over there doing the same thing that he did, okay, in the ancient world. He's killing women and children, and he's not fighting against actual warriors, actual men, okay? Because Amalek is a coward, all right?
That's why it says here, again, I'm going to get Ezekiel 25 and 12. Thus says Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, because that Edom has drove against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended, and revenged himself upon them. So that was the two accounts of Esau revenging himself once again against Esau and Jacob. Once again, going back to Genesis 3, Genesis 25. The Lord shall put enmity between thy seed and her seed. And the Lord said that two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
I got another one.
John.
Just to add to that point about Amalek attacking women and children, one of the most famous Amalekite kings, his name was Agag, okay, and he was chopped in pieces by Samuel, all right? And what did Samuel say right before he killed Agag? This is 1 Samuel 15 and 33, and it says, And Samuel said, As thy sword hath made women childless, so shall thy mother be childless among women. And Samuel hewed Agag in pieces before the Lord in Gilgal. So Samuel brought up the fact that Agag killed a lot of children, man. Okay? Agag killed a lot of children, I'm sure women too, but he mentions the fact that thy sword has made women childless. Okay? Meaning he was going around doing that bullshit. Okay? And so basically the Lord took revenge on him through Samuel. Alright? Just to bring up that point of that spiritual omen that is on the Amalekites, because Agag was the king of Amalek.
You can get something for me? I think it's in the book of Judges. Look up Judges, where Amalek starves the children of Israel. I remember reading something about that too in the book of Judges. If it's not in the book of Judges, it might be in the book of Joshua. But look up Judges first. So once again, we're just getting these accounts, biblical accounts, that's documented, where Esau is fighting against Jacob. And then later on in a bit, we're going to get how King David subjugated Esau, the nation of Edom, to us. Now there was always moments when Esau was free and sovereign, because once King David died, I believe Esau, or Solomon died, Esau went to war then with Rehoboam, and these nations started getting more allied with each other and defeating certain kings of the nation of Israel. Esau, in the secular history, Esau never connects the Greeks and the Romans back to Edom. He never goes that far back. He just goes back to the Greeks, and then he doesn't even tell us who the Greeks are. The Greeks are still alive to this day. That's not their original biblical name. Every nation today, it has a biblical nationality that they would go back to.
I got this one in Judges.
Unless it's the tribe of Dan. The tribe of Dan, that's the only nation that doesn't exist today. But technically speaking, he does, as the nation of Israel.
Right here in Judges chapter 3, okay, this is one of the judgments that the Lord put on the children of Israel for going off. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord and of the Lord Yahweh. And the Lord Yahweh strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel and possessed the city of palm trees. Okay, another account of Amalek attacking the Israelites. Judges 3 and 3.
Read that one.
Judges 3 in verse. Judges 3 and 12. Something's like it. Judges 3 and 12. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel and possessed the city of palm trees.
That's not the one I asked you.
One in said when he starved the children of Israel.
That was the book of Joshua.
That was Judges.
If you can't find it, it's all right.
Yeah, I can't find it. Let me see if I can find it.
But either way, that's not the one I wanted. There's one that mentions how Amalek also starved the children of Israel. The book of Judges, way before Samuel came into the scene. So when we say this is a book of nations, this is basically like the Bible is the Game of Thrones. That's where Game of Thrones got its blueprint from the scriptures here. These nations going to war with each other. That's here in these scriptures here. Lord of the Rings and shit like that. Oh, that's all from these. That started with these scriptures here, the Bible here.
Yeah, the last verse that in Judges that mentions Amalek is Judges 5:14. It says, they came down from Ephraim, a land that once belonged to the Amalekites. The Amalekites. So that's another tribe, the Amalekites. And they found Benjamin with your troops from Machir of the commanders, and marched down from Zebulun came those who carried the commander's staff. Okay, so I don't see any more about Amalek.
Alright, well, just look up in Google how many times did Esau go to war with Israel in the Bible. Because you even have in the book of 2 Kings, you hear about Esau and Moab joining with Israel. I believe that king at that time was Ahab's son, Ahaz. That was the younger son of Ahab. These were, it mentions 3 kings. They were seeking a prophet. And that prophet that they would seek was Elisha. And then Elisha caused on the Lord to give them a strategy to defeat. I believe it was Isrealite tribe.
I got this from AI Overview. It says, there are numerous biblical accounts of Edom attacking or acting hostilely toward Israel, beginning with refusing them passage during the Exodus. Other conflicts include King Saul's fighting them, King David subduing them and placing garrisons in their land, and King Jehoshaphat forcing a coalition that included Edom. The hostility continued through the reigns of kings of Jehoram and Ahaz. It says, and as described as recurring theme by prophets like Obadiah and Ezekiel. That's right, because the whole book of Obadiah, which is 1 chapter, goes into the punishment that Edom is going to receive for putting their hands on the children of Israel. Okay? So Obadiah is definitely one of those prophets that was a rebuke toward that specific nation. All right?
You know, where Amaziah goes to war with Edom. Because once, actually no, before that, ask Google, when did Esau get freed from King David's bondage? Because Jake might think that Esau was always under our captivity. No, there was a certain times when Esau was freed, and he went to war with us, and actually defeated us as our punishment.
Right here, Esau was, it's not good. Put Edom.
Just look at when did Esau get revenge on King David for killing his nation. So we're gonna look up when did Esau get back on King David for almost killing his people.
Right here at overview, after the death of Solomon, the Edomites began to reign independence, but they did not achieve full sovereignty until much later. The Edomites were a vassal state under Israelite control, first conquered by King David and ruled by the Israelite governors during Solomon's reign. A rebellion occurred after David's death, but failed. An Edomite prince named Hadad, I remember that account. Okay, I was reading the book of 1 Kings a little earlier.
That was during Solomon's reign.
Yep. They had an Edomite revolt, but it failed. It says, the kingdom remained under Judah's influence after the split following Solomon's death until the kingdom of Israel split into the northern kingdom of Israel and the southern kingdom of Judah. Edom became a dependency of Judah, the biblical text notes that at this time there was no king in Edom, a deputy was king. Edom gained full independence during the reign of King Jehoram of Judah. Edom successfully revolted against the rule of Judah sometime between 848 and 841 BCE. In the 9th century BCE, they appointed their own king, which marked a definite break from Judah's control. So it was during King Jehoram's reign.
Who was Jehoram's father?
Jehoram,
I think that was the son of Ahaz.
Jehoram's father, Jehoshaphat, King Jehoshaphat, which was one of the righteous kings. He was the son of Asa, right?
Yeah, because Jehoshaphat was with Ahaz, son of Ahab, king of Israel,
right.
Northern tribe.
They were fighting together. That's when
Moab.
Ahab got smoked. Yeah.
Look up Ahaz and Jehoshaphat go to war.
That's First Kings. First Kings. This is towards the end. Ahaz goes to war, or Ahab goes to war.
Ahaz goes to war with Jehoshaphat. Because I believe that's in 2 Kings. They actually join each other with Esau, Edom, and go to war against Moab, I think. Yeah, they went to war against Moab.
Yep. Ahaz did not go to war with Israel. Rather, he was attacked by an alliance of the Syrian and by an alliance of Syria and Israel. Okay, so it says in the 8th century BCE, Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, king of the northern kingdom. He was Pekah. Pekah, the king of the northern kingdom of Israel, allied against Judah, besieged Jerusalem and conquering 2 other cities in an effort to depose Ahaz. Facing this invasion, Ahaz ultimately sought help from the king of Syria, which led to Judah becoming a vassal of Assyria.
Let's go into just look up what wars did Ahaz go to.
Right here, it says King Ahaz of Judah fought a series of conflicts primarily against the coalition of Syria, Aram, and the northern kingdom of Israel. He was also attacked by Edom and the Philistines. To defend himself, Ahaz formed an alliance with a powerful Neo-Assyrian empire, which had significant consequences.
Ahaz of Israel. Look up Ahaz of Israel. And Ahaz of Judah.
Jeroboam, Nadab, Baasha, Elah, Sumrai, Omri, Ahab, Ahaziah, Jehoram, Jehu, Jehoahaz, Jehoash, Jeroboam, Zechariah, Shallum, Menahem,
Lock, never mind.
Okay.
Let's go to go to 2 Kings, third chapter.
2 Kings 3. This is 2 Kings chapter 3. How you doing, man?
What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
And jump to verse 9.
Verse 9. So the king of Israel went, and the king of Judah, and the king of Edom, and they fetched a compass of 7 days' journey.
So there you can stop. Now you can read the whole chapter yourself, but I just wanted to get that. That was where they joined. Basically, you see Israel, Judah, and Edom joining each other to fight against that was Moab, right?
That was Edom.
No, but who are they fighting against?
So the king of Israel went, and the king of Judah, and the king of Edom, and they fetched and compassed of 7 days' journey, and there was no water for the host, for the cattle that followed them. And the king of Israel said, at last, the Lord Yahweh hath called these. It says, call these 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. So yes, Moab.
And then Elijah gives him the victory through the power of Yahweh. Through the power of Yahweh. And then look up when Esau, I know you just had it, but when Esau rebels against Jehoram.
Says Edom gained full independence during the reign of King Jehoram. Look at that. Right here it says Edom successfully revolted against the rule of Judea, against the rule of Judah, sometime between 848 and 841 BCE. In the 9th century BCE, they appointed their own king, which marked a definite break from Judah's control. Right here, here's the verse, I believe 2 Chronicles chapter 21 and verse 8. 2 Chronicles chapter 21 and verse 8, it says, in his days, well, let me start at verse 7. Howbeit the Lord would not destroy the house of David because of the covenant that he had made with David, and as he promised to give a light to him and his sons forever. In his days the Edomites revolted under the dominion of Judah and made themselves a king. Then Jehoram went forth with his princes and all his chariots with him, and he rose up by the night and smote the Edomites, which compassed him which compassed him in the captains of the chariots. So the Edomites revolted from under the hand of Judah unto this day. The same time also did Libnah revolt from under his hand, because he had forsaken the Lord Yahweh power of his fathers. Talking about Jehoram.
So he beat them in that battle.
That's right.
But they kept on revolting.
Yep, and they got free. Because he also had to fight another battle against Libnah. All right, so he was fighting multiple fronts. Okay.
Okay, now look up when did Esau get defeated after their revolt against Jehoram? not just us getting our ass beat, or Esau just getting his ass dumb ass beat. Excuse that stupid noise over there. It's a balance. At one point, Esau's dumbass is getting beat and getting defeated. Now he's subjugated, and then at one point, we're the ones subjugated under Esau or another nation.
I got it right here. Come on. This is during the reign of King Jehoram of Judah. It says 853 to 841. The Edomites revolted and rebelled against their rebelled and regained their independence. After this successful revolt, Edom was not permanently defeated by Judah again until the 2nd century BC, which would have been during the Greek time period under the Maccabees. So that would have been the Hasmonean dynasty. That would have been under Mattathias. That would have been under Judas Maccabeus, and ultimately when they were forced to convert to the law, statutes, commandments by John Hyrcanus. Okay, that would have been the last time that the Esau Edomites were under our control.
Look up, did Amaziah defeat Esau? Because they might be lying there. Because Amaziah did get a great defeat against these Edomites by the Lord.
Yes, King Amaziah of Judah defeated the Edomites in a military victory, but his subsequent actions led to disaster. He killed 10,000 Edomites, captured their capital city of Selah, or Seal, which he renamed Jocathel, and took 10,000 prisoners who were later killed. However, this victory made him overconfident, and he later foolishly challenged King Joash of Israel, leading to Judah's defeat in the capture of Jerusalem and his own capture and eventual assassination.
So they lied on the last one, man. That after their revolt against Jehoram and got their freedom, they got their asses beat again with Amaziah.
Yep, killed 10,000 Edomites.
And that was when he threw them off the cliff, right?
Yep.
And then Esau came and beat our ass again once Babylon came and conquered us.
Yep.
But we still had a certain sovereignty and freedom. We still had our land. Even after that.
I got that right here, Psalms 137:7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof, which means erase. When you say race it, okay, it means erase. That's a shortening of the word erase that we use today, meaning wipe it out. All right. So they were cheering on the Babylonians during the time of Jeremiah when the Babylonians came into the southern kingdom and destroyed Judah. Okay. And Edom was there. What were they doing? When certain Israelites would escape, Edomites would be waiting on the outskirts, and they would recapture those Israelites to bring them back to the Babylonians, or they would just kill them. Okay, so this is the stuff that Esau Edom was doing. The next verse, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. So when you're going through the history of the Edomites and the Israelites and all the other nations, one thing you got to remember is that the entire Bible is a list in chronological order of the empires that have ruled the world after the flood. Okay, that first empire that ruled the world after the flood was Nimrod in Babylon. Okay, now it's a very significant point there because I actually looked up some facts about Nimrod. Okay, Nimrod, he was okay, the Bible, let me go there. This is Nimrod, he was the son of Cush, okay? So this is Genesis chapter 10 and verse 8, and it says, and Cush begat Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one in the earth. So Nimrod was